the after church chapel of poetry, where today we celebrate the mind, we celebrate the dollar, we celebrate the eye of God looking into your world. Can you see it reflected back at you in the chapel of poetry in this day? In this day, I read your email, a scarab from the moon. I saw it in my eye. I saw that scarab, that sacred symbol beamed into my email box, sent there by a friend. Today we celebrate poetry. April is National Poetry Month, and we are kicking the day off with poetry. And I wanted to start with this card here. And this poem here, based on these cards, this one, and this one, and the poem reads like this: You make me sick. You make me sick with your needles and syringes left all over the bathroom floor. You said it was Botox. You said it was Botox. But who self-medicates Botox at home? With 12 cats running around, crawling over all the furniture, hungry, thirsty for attention, while you bite your fingernails down to the quick, complaining that the latest episode of Big Brother didn't go your way. As I race home on a 737 MAX, I thought about you. I thought about you when I read the vomit bag, the instructions on the vomit bag. Poem number 1 for National Poetry Month. And let's move on. Let's move on to the other one I wrote. And this one, I took a line from here and there from Tarot Mysticism. Welcome, Melissa Weed. We're not going to have any weed today. And this from Joe Montelio's book, Tarot Mysticism, from page 118 to 119 and page 134, 2 poems. I will read them back to back. Teth, teth, teth. I twist myself into a knotted coil of lust for an object of obsession, of superficial beauty, an illusion of something real, an illusion of something real. The serpent in the garden, numbered 358, transliterates into Messiah, transformed into esoteric cycles of life, death, rhythms in between, coded into human DNA. Two serpents twined together clouds the meaning of love's desire for itself. I see. I go inside, outside, cough, shin, tav, form the word rainbow, stretching from side to side, gleaming in the spring rain. I see, I go outside, beholden the beauty, harmony, harm, oh me, it hurts. It hurts my knee when the weather changes from one form to another, creating atmospheric conditions, creating a perfect rainbow for us, promises from a God from the UFO outside, not to destroy me, you, all of us. And I will go to one more poem that I wrote from my Catholic Missal. If you're willing to hear the number 999, but nobody seems to want to listen anymore, to sacrifice the day, the night, ordinary life, reaching down into us like roots and waves. Roots and waves, I can hear those waves in a seashell right now. They say hello, hello, sacrifice the day, ordinary life today in the theater of pain, of poetry, in this chapel of poetry where we worship, we celebrate the word of the day. Men who are weak broke that oath, that sacred oath of love. Sacrifice your wounded heart into the void. Those worthless symbols, religions of power, narcissism, control, manipulation leave you feeling rushed and unloved today. And now we begin the poetry of the moment. The poetry of the moment, and blessing Fatima. I'm going to shuffle these cards and begin. And some cards just flew right out of the deck. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Do not get too excited here today. Bless those who curse you. Bless those who do you wrong. Because the vomiting Cupid is right outside your door. The love given to you came right back out in green puke, and your love is moving back in with their folks because that bastard did this. Drove the car out into the mud and got it all messed up inside this theater of pain and loveless days and nights. A car rushing down the street hits a tree of weeds. Roll those weeds up into a blunt and smoke it at night to help you sleep. Those roots, those waves, those blessings flowing through the air. Those blessings flowing through the air. And this is what happened next. The magician pulled a rabbit out of the hat. And that rabbit ran around the audience and crapped on someone's foot. And the next thing that happened was this. That rabbit ended up on a meat hook in your pantry, hanging peacefully in the quiet, hanging there, ripening and getting that gamey feel out before you go and fry it up with some liver and onions to have your daily meat. And what is next in this poem I am spinning here for you out of this deck of real life tarot cards? And let's see what is next in the Chapel of Poetry. In the Chapel of Poetry, we are going to move on to, it's upside down, to microdosing. Microdosing your happiness. Microdosing your happiness in a tea of love. A tea of love. Made from shrooms in the backyard growing out of that cow pie. Who knew that love could come from cow pie? The cow pie high, you know, that cow pie high. Microdosing yourself into happiness, looking into the eye and seeing some guy floating around upside down, right side out, upside down, and all blurry inside. Blurry. This is what microdosing gives you, right? Just a little tiny bit of off-kilter happiness, gazing into the eye. The eye, the eye. You're gazing there, and look, I'm upside down, right side up. You are really seeing that. And what happens next in this story in the Theater of Pain, the Chapel of Poetry I am invoking today? And today, your game controller came unplugged, and you, while microdosing, can't seem to fix it, can't figure out what plug goes where, because the PS1 is the PS2, is the PS3, is the PTSD. The PTSD of yesterday. Let's go into this other deck here and choose another segment of the story and see, where does the story go from here? It goes to right here. Not my type, man. It ain't my type. That microdosing, you know, was real high. Went on down to the bar. Hey, Clint. We are doing the Chapel of Poetry today, and I'm right in the middle of spinning a yarn from these cards right here. And the card before this was the game controller came unplugged because the microdosing sent you to the bar and you met that priest and you decided that priest just wasn't your type. Just not your type today. All right, let's go out and play some more. Because you know that dollar bill don't seem to go very far anymore. Your game controllers are wireless. And all right, let's go to the crossword oracle and we will start a new poem. Okay, let's start a new poem here, folks. And welcome, Clint. Welcome, Fatima. Welcome, Roots and Waves. And we will do one more of these poems here. 28, 2 plus 8 is 10. 1 is the beginning of a new cycle, and 10, 0 is that path to infinity, that singularity, that eternity we feel inside. We feel inside because the rent is due tomorrow. The rent on the edge of the color red. The rent is due on the edge of the color red. On the color red. Do you feel my words? I speak out of both sides of my mouth at the same time. Truth this way, lies that way. Truth this way, illusions that way. Do you believe your own lies? Do you detect that the words one speaks may not be true? Electric wisdom flows down from the sky in a bolt of light. On the edge of tomorrow, on the edge of today, ice forms. Ice forms around the color red. Around the color red, your porch swing froze into place. The rent is due soon, the gods say. P.S. P.S. There's another verse here. That other verse, number 32. 3 plus 2 is 5. We are making a change in the poem to a film. The film goes through the thing, clackety, 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 clackety. This is not a stream film. This is a film, the old-fashioned film. The old-fashioned film, clackety, 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 clack. Ask the oracle, what do you hear? What is the meaning of where? What is the meaning of where? What did you throw over there? An oak stands tall in the field. The sea waves lap up against the new shore. The sea waves lap up against the new shore because the old shore is under 10 feet of water. throw those rugs out because they are stinky with house flood waters. Go ask the oak in the field your question. The sea shore has changed to another place inland. The film clackety 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 carries on and on and on. And A-R-T, the ace of art, is at the beginning of the new verse, which says, hello, Sam, hello. And we are at 35, the number 8. We are coming into the fruition of this place and on to the next stanza. Adrift on in a sea of bourbon. Adrift in a sea of bourbon, watching a solar eclipse, drooling from the lip, rebounding from that love, rebounding from that love that kicked you out last night because you stayed up too late in the theater of pain and poetry. Pain and poetry is all we feel today. Okay. And I promised Taro asked backwards that I would read from his book. Because he sent me 2 of his books from my birthday and a deck of tarot cards, which is in the other room right now. And so, from the words of Jeffrey P. Bailey, we are uplifting Jeffrey Bailey on Easy Street. We are uplifting Jeffrey Bailey Tarot Ask backwards right now in the Chapel of Poetry, because Poetry Month begins soon on April 1st. And so I am celebrating a random page here. We'll just go into a random page. Right now we stop. And here is the poem I got for you. And today is your birthday month too. Happy birthday. I hope and wonder. I hope and wonder. Not sure what's come over me, and for no good reason. The sadness in these eyes can't bear the highlight of this moment. And they without my say so makes me want to cry. Maybe reality has finally sunk in. Maybe reality has finally sunk in. I thought the worst was over. I thought the worst of it was over after having borne witness to it. I thought I'd already exorcised that pain. I wonder how it all feels. But I guess it's a moot point since you are always stoic. I wonder if you ran because you were scared. I wonder if you ran because you were scared and didn't want to know the plan. Or if you were as surprised and wounded that the God you revered had one final command. Welcome to the Chapel of Poetry today. Some of your words were all too prophetic. The Black Irish in you spoke to your will. that once signed, sealed, and delivered was so punctual as you always were, it was cruel. It was cruel. I hope there's rest now, even though those nights I heard you tossing and turning in that lonely room brought you so little in this life that by happiness you were consumed. I just hope you find the peace you sought so you can be at ease while for an eternity you sleep. I hope and wonder by Jeff Bailey Tarot Ask Backwards Poetry on Easy Street. And at this moment, I'm going to pause for a sip of my communion coffee, that go-go juice that gets me going in the morning. Got to slurp it up really good. All right, let's read from Tarot Ask Backwards again. And this one is from his book, Some Good Writ. And we will stop at a random page because we are celebrating Tarot Ask Backwards today in the Chapel of Poetry. Tomorrow, it'll be someone else. Next Sunday, it'll be the first Sunday of poetry. But today, it's like Lent. We are kicking off the Chapel of Poetry. Okay, there's the page. Randomly selected. It is Why Feel Shame. Why feel shame? You told lies when everyone expected you to rise and defy a pattern set in motion so long ago. It's hard to know when the transgression began, and if there's ever underhanded were planned out of retaliation against you, because your voice somehow threatened them, how much you must have sacrificed. And I read that word sacrifice earlier today and got it out of the page of 999. How much you must have sacrificed through the most desperate of times just to save some desperate of times, just to save some part of them when they wanted to project their own vices onto you. Jesus dying on the cross for our sins. Jesus dying on the cross for our sins. Jesus died for you. It was the ultimate virtue, and they'd tell you so you should. Why feel shame? Why feel shame when your aura, supposedly clean, deceives your ability to reason, and you let this happen over and over and over again? Why feel shame when orders come down without answering your questions? Why feel shame knowing how they belittle you, tell you they're making you the target of a jerk-off peep show designed to control you? In this religion of narcissism, power, and control, empty words are void to God. Why feel shame looking for the next opportunity? Why feel shame before someone was doing the same? Who would fall from grace trying to hold on, leaving open for you your next vacancy of shame? Born into a world blanketed by unknown, looking for absolution in advance of all not foretold. Maybe a baptism can unwind our lives. A baptism can unwind our lives. A baptism can unwind our lives. A baptism, and put that holy dollar all over you in the chapel of poetry, the theater of pain. Why feel shame? Why feel shame? Make a baptism. Maybe a baptism can unwind our lives to a utopia unencumbered by the stigma of pain and the self-inflicted persecution of shame in the theater of pain. Why feel shame? It's shameful, you know. It's shameful what we do to each other. It's shameful what we do to each other. Let's go to the next verse of this poem. And we are at a card. Okay. And for the asking backwards, this card popped out. In the rent-controlled apartments we celebrate. I think I saw that pain in there, but I did embellish your poem a little bit. In the rent-controlled apartments, down there in the bottom of the world, we who feel unloved, gather to find connection with one another in the rent-controlled apartments of the world. We, the unloved, feel connection to one another. Let go of our shame, let go of our pain, and worship in the chapel of poetry. Well, that is the kickoff. That is the kickoff to National Poetry Month. So Jeff, I read 2 poems for which you know. How about see, we can do this. And this was your suggestion. Let's get this in here. Make it a little bit shorter. I haven't actually worn this shirt for a while. The sacrilege. How about that? George Washington from the dollar bill shining out. I didn't think to do that. Yours the 17th? Do I get a dance? You know what? I will paint you something, Jeff, and I'll send it to you in the mail. And I will yeah, I'll paint you something. And I have a lot of thank yous to send out because oh, I put it over there. I got a beautiful tarot deck. It was on my wish list, but I didn't actually see it in advance, from Essence of the Moon. And it's so magical, and it just made me smile when I pulled it out. So next week we're going to do some more from the Real Life Tarot. More from the Real Life Tarot, and more from and if anyone out there would like that is a poet, I'm hoping to get a guest on here, like maybe Karen. If you want to come on, Jeff, for April Poetry Month and do a performance as well, you can come on. So maybe the way we'll do that is I will start off, and then I will pull somebody in after I do the introduction to the Chapel of Poetry in the month of and so, all right. Well, it's all about virtual reality, right? It's all about virtual reality. And let me see. Let me go one more card from this What's Blocking You and see what... Oh, look what my favorite card came out. Love Sucks. Love Sucks down here at the bottom. Anyways, that's all I got. And next week I will be one tooth less. I'm getting a tooth right here pulled out. Hopefully it doesn't break off. Prisoner in VR, yeah. Well, you know what? You don't have to give those people power. Don't have to give those people power. And thank you all listening. Actually, I think there's more. Maybe more people will come. So this is the tarot that Anne suggested this, and I got this for my birthday. My aunt, whose mother was my aunt. Yeah, I know what they want. It doesn't mean they're gonna get it. I mean, they're gonna get it in a slight. They've kind of got it. Yeah. So this one's great, and so my aunt sent me. I was able to pay for most of it with what my aunt sent me for my birthday, and then my other, and that was that one, and then Elizabeth from The More Intuitive Me sent me this one, and you sent me that one, which is in the other room, and the Grand Trumps, and I really like that. I like that because I didn't think I would like I didn't think that I would like a all a major arcana deck, but I can see that there's so much you can do with that, and the cards are so beautiful. And so I'm going to close out the Chapel of Poetry with a random page poem from my Catholic Missal. Well, Jeff, I actually had took it off. I actually had took it off my list when I realized what it was, and but it's okay. It's okay because it was a pleasant surprise. It was a pleasant surprise. So I'm going to close out the Chapel of Poetry with a random, because I started the Chapel of Poetry with a random page from here. And I'm going to finish today's Chapel of Poetry with another random page from here. And Jeff, why don't you tell me when to stop? Just tell me when to stop. Tell me when to stop, please. Tell me when to stop. Tell me when to stop, and I will stop. Can you tell me when to stop? Anybody? Tell me when to stop? Okay, we'll stop in here then. Okay, 1363. Okay. 1363, Sam. 1 plus 3 is 4. 10 plus 3 is 13. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4. You know, that number has come up a lot today and this weekend. 4, 4, 4. We started out with Friday night. And my collaborative with Clint's, with C3PO, we did a paint off and painted the 4 of wands. And then when I looked at the Moon Garden Tarot, that essence of the moon gifted me through my Amazon wish list. The 4 came out, and that video is going to come out tomorrow. I just need to trim about 15 minutes out of it. And then, so it's the number 4, that stability, that way to celebration. And here we are, announcing ourselves in front of the throne of David, the throne on the earth. This throne transcends the concept. This seat of power transcends the concept of salvation. And what are we saved from? The prophet said. Are we saved from that? The will of a narcissistic God who looks an awful lot like that guy over there? That guy over there who declared themselves a God to rule over us. Hello, Evie. Welcome to the conclusion of today's Chapel of Poetry in the kickoff to National Poetry Month. Blessings. And the angel of Gabriel. And the angel of Gabriel is flying around outside, flying around in his chariot, flying around in a flying saucer. A flying saucer. And Gabriel was sent to a town from God, from some planet out there. They came to a place where they could fold space around and travel to Earth without moving. They traveled across the universe, maybe even from another universe, to get to here. I don't know how they found here anyways. I remember you, Melissa Weed, Welcome, welcome to the Chapel of Poetry. And I am channeling some words from this page 1363, which reduces down to the number 4, because that number 4 is the word of the day of celebration, of stability, of having all your corners connected in your life so that you can feel rooted to the earth under the stars, rooted to the earth where the waves come crashing in and cleanse you of your shame in the theater of pain. That throne on earth, what is it doing there? The throne on earth means the seat is that we sit in that seat of power. The throne on earth is the place where we sit in the seat of power. And this isn't exactly a poem, is it? I guess I spun out of poetry and went into a message of who knows what in the Chapel of Poetry. Welcome. Welcome to the Chapel of Poetry. And thank you. Thank you for being here. Blessings and peace to you. Thank you for your support. I will be back here next Sunday at around 12:21 p.m. for another installment of the Chapel of Poetry, because we are in National Poetry Month now. This is like the eve of National Poetry Month, the Lent of National Poetry Month. And I will spin some more poems for you. Maybe for Elizabeth, if she's out there, if she watches this later, I will pull a card from her deck that she gifted to me. And we have the Two of Swords pulled out at random. I totally pulled this out at random. I did not look for it. And I know that Care Bear Bar of the Cards wanted to discuss this on my channel sometimes. And with this card, it inspired me to paint this last week. A no-faced guy standing in a field with 3 birds. Have yourself a blessed Sunday. And 3 flying saucers shooting beams down into this guy, energizing him with the power of the divine. Anyways, that is what this card inspired me to do. And so in the 2, you have a choice between this face and this face. A clown's face, a happy clown, and an evil clown. It's between goodness and evil, a choice that you have to make in every moment. We make these choices for ourselves. Thank you. Thank you. That is from the Tarot of the Abyss. Thank you, the more intuitive me. Thank you, Sam. Well, my day is just beginning, Sam. When I get turn off, I'm going to plug the waffle iron back in and make my breakfast. And so that's what we got for you all. And I'll be back. I'm going to be doing a lot of things this week anyways. I don't think I have a guest for coloring the tarot this week. So which means maybe I'm not going to do a coloring the tarot this week. That's okay. Anyways. I probably won't feel like it after getting a tooth pulled out on Wednesday. All right. Blessings and peace to all of you. And until the next time, bye-bye. And thank you very much for your support.